Breaking news right now in Libya, rebel fighters celebrating after they've learned the United Nations ordered a no-fly zone and that the United States will not sit idly by and watch dictator Muammar Gaddafi attacking his own people.
Here's why this matters to us. Left unchecked, we have every reason to believe that Gaddafi would commit atrocities against his people. Many thousands could die. A humanitarian crisis would ensue. The entire region could be destabilized, endangering many of our allies and partners.
The president went on to say that change in Libya cannot and will not be imposed by the United States or any foreign power. Ultimately, it will be driven by the people of the Arab world. Only on Fox 35 tonight. More perspective right now. Joining us now to break down the latest in Libya is reporter Craig Boswell out of Washington and Mideast and terrorism expert Christopher Hinn joining us in our newsroom. Craig, first question I want to shoot to you. Is this a viable ceasefire? We are already hearing that Gaddafi is violating the ceasefire.
Yeah, we're hearing those things as well, some reports of attacks. Look, there are questions about the ceasefire motivations of Muammar Gaddafi. Absolutely no trust in Gaddafi in Washington. The president met with key congressional members about the situation and about Gaddafi and about possible options. We also had word from our Pentagon producer today about these possible deployments, about naval warships that could be used to take out aerial defense systems, for example, submarines. And we know there's at least one sub in the Mediterranean that could fire accurate Tomahawk missiles. And second, the Air Force could likely deploy unmanned aerial surveillance craft.
Christopher, I want to bring you in on this. What will be the end game if this ceasefire is not viable? What's the end game in Libya? Is Gaddafi going to have to be, brought out kicking and screaming?
The only solution, Gaddafi was referred by Ronald Reagan back in 1981 as the mad dog of the Middle East. That's 30 years ago. I don't think that has changed. Actually, the man got worse. Yes, I think the only solution with Gaddafi is to remove him by force. He will not get out. He will not do anything different. I think this is just a ploy to appease the surrounding nations that are threatening with the no-fly zone.
All right, Christopher, thank you. Craig, Obama is saying that ground troops are not an option for the U.S. What is the administration's stance? They would be part of the coalition, but what specifically does that mean?
Certainly the coalition, part of the coalition, he was clear saying it would not involve ground troops, making a key point of that in his statement this afternoon, but essentially also drawing a line in the sand, warning Gaddafi not to step over it. If he does step over it by attacking civilians, that would trigger implementation of the no-fly zone. They're saying that the U.S. would be technically involved in that. Technical advice, and as we mentioned from the Pentagon, certainly could involve some carrier and some of the drones to fly over that area as well.
Christopher, what happens to Gaddafi if he is ousted? Is there a chance that he could, brutal that he is, return to terrorism?
Well, the point that I think Greg made very well is that our president, we're standing by. We're not going to put any troops, but not until we remove him. And to replace him, that's a $64,000 question. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure somebody will be much better than him and his 7 children or the boys.
Craig, one last question for you. First, we had Egypt. Now we're dealing with Libya. What will be next in the Middle East?
Well, the president today also condemned the violence in Yemen. There was violence there that killed some 40 people, and he's saying the people there would be held responsible, and that the Yemeni government should make good on their pledge to allow peaceful protests. That was also echoed by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton today. So as these things unfold across the Middle East and North Africa, issuing these same type of warnings that those people that are perpetrating this violence will be held accountable.
Craig Boswell, Christopher Hinn, gentlemen, thank you for speaking with us this afternoon.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.